Welcome. Welcome to 10 Minutes on the Fly with Cassandra. I am Cassandra. I am Jesus' lifetime, and I would like to update you on the annoying armadillos that are evil. They're actually in the kayak as we speak, being evil and annoying me. They're annoying my dog too. So I thought we got rid of them. However, they're still in the backyard. I can hear their little feet and their little squeaks. And it really is making me upset. Anyways, what kind of content do we want to talk about today? Content creation, is that what we're thinking that we want to speak of? We're having some experiences of cloudy mindedness, yet there's still a need to create content, correct? So there's a couple things that you can partake in when it comes to not sure what you want to speak of as you just start talking. You just start speaking. And then all of a sudden all these ideas come up in your brain, and then they come out your mouth, and then you realize that you actually had the best podcast that you ever could have had. So it kind of reminds me a lot of like comparing it to a yoga practice. So with a yoga practice, a lot of the time, you don't want to practice. You'll see a lot of these yoga students are like, oh, I love yoga. Why would you love yoga? Like seriously, that's how I always feel about it these days, because it's like there's the energies of the bad energy jujus don't want you to get on the mat, because that energy that doesn't want you to get on the mat knows that if you get on the mat, you're going to evolve yourself into peace. But that's what everybody doesn't want for you. Do you understand that part? So if you can create content, you may actually get somewhere in your life, and they don't want that either. So you want to understand that the hardest things in life are the things that you have to work for. And that includes content creation. Creativity is not always fun and games. Sometimes it's a challenge. Sometimes it's being vulnerable. And sometimes it's things that it becomes like work. So I never really could grasp and understand people who thought that, they had these. I'm not the type of person to like enjoy drawing. So I don't really understand that connection to art. At least right in this moment, I don't. I'm really distracted right now because I have this dog here. I've got another dog that's trying to eat the armadillos. Not to mention I'm in a battle with some concerns with the internet. I transferred over to a multi-platform as well, which also always sets a tone for new energy movements. And people doing bad things. So what we're experiencing on the internet when it comes to content creation is no one's actually doing anything worthwhile. And in the positive sense of that, it means that there's a lot of opportunity for the good people to rise above and start creating content. Each individual person will have their own experience along the way to evolve themselves into content creators. You can technically compare it to the Journey into Power sequence, as I discussed last night on one of my TikTok pages, as I told everyone I was going to do a yoga practice that took probably about 20 to 30 minutes. As I've evolved my practice, I realized that an hour practice that used to take me a long time to get into the extensive version of the real solid version of what, let's say, Warrior One would be, now doesn't take me very long. Meaning I can coach myself into getting into air, water, earth, and fire, as well as creating space for something new in a shorter time period than the longevity of what it used to take me. Meanwhile, I'm alleviating energy, I'm dissipating emotions, and I'm feeling free during the process. Currently in my status, I use music. However, I don't always use music when I practice yoga. also evidence in content creation to show you that you can do the same thing in different ways. That goes for your specific hobby, your specific page, your specific platform. Does not have to be done in the same way. I say that because I don't want to be known as a singular, one-dimensional experience for people. I want people to see that I have evolution in who I am. I want people to feel comfortable when I say, and get excited when I say, instead of doing it on the back porch of the sewing room, I'm going to do it in my bedroom. And you're going to say, wow, I can't wait to see what the difference is. And I also can't wait to see a new background. So versus people feeling depleted or uninterested, they actually get interested in what you're developing. As you see today, I didn't place the V-friends in the shot. Although they're sitting right over there, today I wanted for you to see my little frilly-haired plant. Not to mention there's a plant I moved hanging over my head that would like to showcase to you, to show you that plant. As we continue on the journey of content creation, it is an uncomfortable journey. Can be confusing, it can be scary, it can be uncomfortable. You can feel angry, you can feel any kind of emotion. Frustration. You can feel like it's not going to get you anywhere, which is all in association to other people's desire for you to fail. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in what you're creating is up to good things. And you can pray and hope that God is watching. And He likely is if it's something that will make a difference for people. What we're seeing now on these platforms is nothing but a showcase of fake personalities in fancy clothing as they drink and sip tea and act a certain way that is pretty grotesque. I kind of miss the old days of real living. And this millennial Gen Zs are nothing but atrocious, fake individuals with no personality. Meaning if you had to have a real conversation with them, you wouldn't experience anything. And it's so crazy because even the parents that raise these children have a disconnect to realize that they are nothing but actors and actresses pretending to play a role of children. They see money as success, even the parents. Oh yeah, he would never do that to somebody else. He's very successful. He has a lot of money. It's like the conversation shift. Oh, he would never do that. He's got millions of followers. Those are your two signs that your children are not up to anything. You should take a look within your own selves to see how you raised your children, if that's the case. When you create content, you create from a space of nothingness to create somethingness for yourself, but for others. So it's a game of give and take. It's a game of evolving yourself into confidence, comfort, and education. Really having something to share with your audience, really having something to educate people on as you are educated, like you actually got an education. And education doesn't mean you went to college. Education means that you worked with people. Education means you took the time to stop and listen to somebody else. Education means you read a book associated with a subject or topic. It might even be that you read a crappy article and then you went to research the crappy article in your own perspective and you actually realized the article was crappy. However, what the article did was it opened your mind up to an idea that you then recreated into practical education that then now gets to be educational pieces for others. So anytime you're looking at these Wall Street Journal articles, New York Times, CNN broadcasting, any of those platforms, I'm going to tell you that it's nothing but jargon and garbage of fact checkers without real deep diving journalism that just doesn't exist any longer. So this is for anyone out there looking to be a journalist. You want to break the bank? You want to break the bank? Then you better get out there and you better start researching and figuring out a way to get your foot in the door and then to go behind the scenes beneath your boss And I don't mean physically. I'm talking underneath the dark tunnels of all of this, because you will be risking your life. However, your life is what it is. It's worth it. Everything I've posted on the internet has put my life at risk. Every single video I post on the internet, and that goes for each and every one of you. Each and every one of you, the way this is evolving with trafficking, labor trafficking, and the SEX kind, the way that social media influencers and content creators are operating has put each and every one of your lives at risk. So you're already at risk. The amount of people who are violently abusive, thieving, rotten inside, and doing erratic behavior all stems from the Democratic Party. And if you have posted a piece of content, you cannot afford a bodyguard, can you? Meaning your life is at risk. So you might as well take the risk and try to make your life mean something, because you might think that we live in a society today of democracy that just doesn't exist any longer. It's the branding that the United States of America has given us through media and television and movies. But the reality is we are actually in a socialist country where the folks like Kim Kardashian and those at the White Party are dictating how we're supposed to feel, what we think is cool, and whatever else they want you to believe in, so that we'll buy more of their products, enter into more of their apps, and the list goes on and on and on and on, while they then proclaim that you too can be a content creator. So until I start seeing some actual factual evidence in association to teaching people real quality content, quality movement content where people are actually getting something versus just a facade of education. That's really what's going on here. Most people can't be teachers and doers. It's like a lesson space that just because you posted content and you were able to manipulate your audience or manipulate a group of people, or because you were on a podcast with Gary Vaynerchuk, or any of these people. I always use his name just because he's always in the forefront, because he's the father of this Web 3.0 garbage. You want to understand that you could look a certain way, you can sound a certain way, you can have the right connections, and that's all you need. You could be dating the guy, for Christ's sake, and your content will grow and they'll respect you more, even though you're the most vicious person on the planet. Which then ultimately downgrades the legacy that he's been teaching and proclaiming. However, the realization is that you have to be aware of who you are, what you're up to, what kind of content you want to create, and what kind of person you want to be. That means take all of those fools out of your peripheral and focus on yourself. Focus on what you want to educate on, and say F you to the rest of that crap. Utilize them for what they're there for, is a bunch of garbage information to push you to produce content, but make sure what you're producing has a grounded educational piece that leaves you feeling filled up, not because you're filling up holes from likes and follows, but because you know that you're doing the right thing with honest intentions, with the desire to assist humanity and to send off information that you learned from previous generations to the generation up and coming. Not even really to focus on putting money in your pocket, because all these people do on these platforms is talk about numbers, money, and how they're going to get their bag. While they lie on a bed, get a massage, and say that they deserve a massage for doing nothing. I deserve a massage. I deserve to get my hair done. I deserve to put makeup on. I deserve to wear this fancy outfit. And now let's take a photo and look a certain way, so then the entire world thinks that we're together while you sit there and smile at it. That doesn't work in the real world, folks. This is an imagination land world we're creating. A facade of a life. A facade. It's fake. I don't care. Gary Vaynerchuk is chiming in. I do not care, Gary Vaynerchuk. The fact that you'd be willing to stand there and take those photos. The fact that you'd be standing, and this is for all of you, you'd be willing to stand there, take those photos, focusing it specifically so that your career can grow. It just tells us a lot about what people are willing to do to throw all of us under the bus, and you still don't do anything to redeem yourself. So every single day I sit here and watch you, and you never redeem yourself. So continue to do your thing, dude, but you got to remember that I ain't stopping until this goes viral, until people hear me on content creation and on what creating value actually is. And I'm focusing on your trash heap Mona Van as the one on what not to do when creating content, because she is a trafficker. She's an evil person, and it's evidence all over her platform. Not to mention the evidence is shown in your platform as well on how she not only acts, what she's done on the platform, and how she's treated not only your staff, how she's transformed your staff, but how your staff will now treat your fans and followers, while you proclaim to be the educator of the good guy. Yeah, I still don't see the white flag flying on your platform with you attempting to reach out to me to tell me that maybe we should try this. I'm sorry for what I did. I'm sorry if I hurt you. Maybe you should try that. Try that.